Vodafone presents the pre-match.
That's right, Vodafone's presenting this pre-match, and it's more than a pre-match, it's an elimination matchup. A best of three will determine which of these two iconic names will remain here with us at the EU Minor for the IEM Katowice Championships 2019. My name is Trey Stunna-Saranthus, and we're ready to walk you right down the aisle into this matchup. And when I say we, I'm talking about myself and these two dashing gentlemen to my left in Natu and Sponge. Guys, no one could have forecasted this. No one could have predicted these two to be in this sort of backs against the wall situation. But hey, we got what we got, right?
Cutthroat, right? The minors now are extremely cutthroat considering the level of teams that we have taking on this venture now, and Counter-Strike, especially in the European minor, it's never been closer, I would say. So, you know, a couple of issues, a couple of hiccups with teams having standards, this, that, and the other, but all in all, this could be one of the most competitive minors we've ever had.
Yeah, it could be one of the most competitive minors. It also could be one where we get a true vision, a true insight, and perhaps even a big green wall. Let's talk about OpTic Gaming and what they've got to show for themselves going thus far. We do know they've come in here with a little bit of a roster adjustment, and they've played their first official on this.
They definitely have. I mean, it's 0-1 for them right now in maps for this 5. But in the big picture, on the paper, you think this lineup should be, you know, it should be good. But it's just not clicking. I don't know if it's like a philosophical thing, if it's a work ethic thing. What's going on here? Because you'd imagine they'd be doing better. At the same time, you know, we've been hearing they've been putting a lot of hours recently. I feel like they kind of maybe have been having issues with their map pool, sort of.
Sure.
Not being able to have those couple maps where they're really, really good. You always know they're going to be contesting anyone. So that's something that they need to be addressing.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the map pool discussion can be said the same for Mouse in the sense of yesterday going up in a best of one against a team who, sure, they were an underdog, but allowing Mirage, which is the most figured out map in the pool, which historically was a strong mousesports map, one that they can be counter-strategized on their tendencies, is a mistake in itself. Now, we know that they can have these slow starts, but the caliber of this team, you look at the star names here, you've obviously got Oscar, just a fantastic AWPer, you've got Rops, and you've got Sunny, and these guys as a trio should have been very easily handling the likes of Valiance, but it was Chris J the one stepping up.
Well, yeah, and I really think in this equation of players, there has to be one player that I guess really finishes them off. It's got to be Sunny. Is that right, Natu?
100%, but he's not performing well. Yesterday, he wasn't having a great day. I feel like, you know, considering the kind of standard he's set himself last year, the latter part of last year as well, he was kind of a little bit quieter. I think it's just because of how the team was doing. Obviously, it wasn't like the greatest times, apart from the New York victory. I don't think they were really, you know,
which is a weird one on its own.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So I think him and Robs, obviously, they're the two guys that you want to see popping, apart from Oscar. But I think like going yesterday and then playing on Mirage, I feel like it's more like a case of them being overconfident because they feel like no matter the map that we're going to be better than this team. And that's the kind of mentality a lot of these top teams have.
Yeah, and that can definitely be a problem. And I think like last year when they were tapering off in their results and there was fluctuating with the whole snack situation, I think they were being overworked. I think they were either personally signing up for too many tournaments or they were being told to go to too many tournaments. Coming in here, there's no excuse, though. They've had the break.
Especially given all the parameters around that, right? Just such a cluster of a situation that happened within that roster. But we don't necessarily need to dive down memory lane. We need to dive down veto lane. That's where we're headed next. We're going to find out which of the 3 maps will be chosen here in this veto process. Now, guys, 3 maps separating this one from what the parameters were yesterday going into the matchup.
Yeah, I think the interesting part here is so that the word is that OpTic has been putting hours on Cash. It's a map that they've not been playing. They got beaten by ENS on it, actually, at Star Ladder in a situation. Yeah, well, we'll figure it out.
It's unfortunate. But that
they're happy and apparently putting hours on it.
But that concept is really cool, right? In the sense that these mind games do start to happen where, you know, certain teams or bits of information get out there into the stratosphere.
How many times have these guys played each other over the course of the past year?
Well, with these rosters, never.
Not these rosters, but I'm saying these cores. Think about that.
Probably within the online Counter-Strike, the realms, it would have been a significant amount of times, or at least a handful of times.
It's not actually, I don't think it's that many times. I think I checked it just recently.
Oh, in that case, well, forget everything I said. We do have Train, Nuke, and Mirage will be our third and final decider. I guess, should we have to go the full distance?
I think that the Train pick is an interesting one because that's one that mousesports has been putting towards the top of their map pool, right? That's been one that they've been working on because for the longest time it was just Mirage and then it felt like everything else didn't really fit in for these guys. But to see them going for Train again with the AWPing duo of the likes of Oscar and Chris J and the way Chris J was playing yesterday, that's positive signs. when you look at the OpTic side of things, Yugi has to be the one standing up, right? And he was someone who I had my arm while online Counter-Strike was in its I guess, best form, and he wasn't able or isn't able to deliver on a consistent basis, and that for me is a bit of a concern for OpTic. So for a map like Train, he needs to definitely be there. Nuke is one that the Danish teams we know are always playing, and it's not surprising to see Snappy get this one picked. I think they have a very good protocol when taking the lower bomb site. They use their utility very well, so that makes sense for them. And it's a map where it can be more structured, so the individuals of mousesports can't pop off as much.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think, like I said, it kind of goes back to the fact that we're talking about. Like, you can't really put a finger on these maps and say 100% this team's going to take this one, the other one's going to take this one, and the third one's going to be super 50-50. More or less, we're in a situation where you don't really know what the quantity is for either side, honestly. I mean, for OpTic, you were saying Yugi is being a bit of a question mark. I feel like I think he got benched from Heroic at one point in time, having some kind of an issue. So it feels like that's kind of an ongoing thing there on the OpTic camp where players are having some sort of issue.
Yeah, and I've heard similar things about, config, not necessarily from just a personal issue within like team dynamics and stuff. He got dropped from North for a reason, right? When he's such a fantastic individual player, there has to be a reason which is potentially outside of the game.
Well, we've seen him be a game changer. We've seen what he can do, and I guess being put in those pivotal positions when he can capitalize them. This guy can come in and change the tide of an entire game. But it seems like that kind of tapered off a little bit. It's kind of fallen away. But there are flashes of it from time to time.
100%. I mean, he's definitely got the skill, but the thing is that a game of Counter-Strike is a lot about mental fortitude. You got to be able to put your head in the right place to really make those right decisions in the nick of time. So if he's unable to do that almost every single time, some doubts will come into his head that will maybe affect the way that he decides in certain situations, and obviously that will alter the way that he plays the game of Counter-Strike, and it's not going to work.
I think my biggest concern going into this series right here for mousesports is their T sides. They're fantastic once they get into the middle of the round and they find themselves in the 3v3s, but it's the opening moves. Have they done enough dry running? Do they have enough strats? Do they have enough plays to be able to rattle OpTic early?
Well, rattling OpTic early would be the big important question on everyone's mind. And guys, I'm going to have to ask you really quickly, Train is going which way?
I'm going to go with mousesports. I think they're going to come out with a fire in the belly today.
100%. It's going to be mousesports for me as well.
Well, about an hour south of London by train. It's a popular day trip destination. It's a broad shingle of beach backed by amusement parks and a Regency-era buildings will be our next two, hailing straight from Brighton Beach. It'll be Harry and Hugo Byron ready to kick off the second day of the EU Minor. Take it away, boys.
Yeah, thank you very much, Trace. I'm very, very pleased with how read up you are on Brighton. I'm glad that I've piqued your interest. Hugo has as well. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be good. I mean, this is one I've been really looking forward to. It's the lower bracket as well. I mean, one of these teams is going to be going home, right? To imagine the OpTic or mousesports might not be at the major challenge or even the playoffs, right? Just eliminated on near enough the opening day, right? Day two going home for one of these teams. That is certainly not how we envisioned this going down.
Yeah, this whole group has been a bit of a crazy one, right? It was at one point Valiance even looked like they could have gone out in 2-0, go straight out the group, but obviously lost that game to Vitality last night just about in that last map. Got a bit wrecked. But yeah, I'm kind of excited for this one. I don't really, I'd like to think mousesports are going to win, but then again, OpTic, a team with so much firepower, it's always so hard to count them out. And, it's really up in the air, but a best of three, elimination, I mean, these guys are going to be playing their hearts out.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, the maps make it that much more interesting, right? We're kickstarting this with Train. It's been a pretty bad map for OpTic as of late, one that they've been struggling a lot. mousesports, meanwhile, this has kind of been maybe a bit of a safe haven for them, almost alongside. They have like the Mirage that they were so kind of famed for that one point in time. Now, if you recall, just yesterday, we actually saw mousesports take a beating there from Valiant, so that's what you pointed out. It was a great performance from Chris J, but there was no one else there stepping up alongside him, so we need to see that today. You can see the Betway odds on your screen. They're going to be edging this one in favor of mousesports as well. Pretty significantly so, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I would like to know what you're saying on this one. Are you jumping on the mousesports train, or are you thinking OpTic that can take this one away?
No, I mean, I think for Train,
yeah.
I think mousesports take this pretty much all day long. I think it gets interesting the further through this that we go. Nuke, obviously, what was that second map that was picked? That was picked by OpTic. That's been a pretty good map for them, but it's also been a pretty good map for mousesports, right? You take a look at it. This is normally the map they go toe-to-toe versus Astralis on, so that becomes interesting. But let's focus anyway on the game at hand. We're here on a trader. You can see OpTic, they chose to start over on that CT side. This is mousesports pick, so OpTic, they get the pick of the sides. And well, it's just it's just armor across the board here for OpTic. The Dane's not going to be opting to pick up any kits or utilities, so they can't really afford to let this bomb go down. And I tell you what, Yugi and Config, they've started this in a big way. That Chris J already answering back with 2. Blink of an eye is actually all left on to Oscar in a 1v3.
Yeah, he's not going to get too much further here. Not a surprise to see Chris J actually start things off so strong. If we think back to that game against Valiance yesterday where mousesports just fell short of the 16-14 loss, it was Chris J, the only savior, the only bastion of hope for mousesports, dropping 31 kills over there. So I'm very excited to see him coming into today. We know how strong the AWPing power can be on mousesports, especially on the CT side of Train, bringing out that double AWP, but that's a long way away. OpTic has started things off strong, at least on the pistol round, and mousesports are going to just decide to take the flat eco, go for these P250s, get that buy up in the 3rd round, and they should be all good to go with the rifles. But probably just a bit of a B play hit for mousesports, try and get that bomb down. They got a flash on Chris J to pop them out of the halls, but other than that, not anything too interesting in this eco.
Yeah, there should just be a chance for OpTic to go ahead and make some money, keep things pretty clean, pick up a 2-0 start. You're not really expecting mousesports to get all too much done. They're setting up over here toward this B bomb site, likely just going to try and get that bomb plant. It's a great site for it. They have that one flash on Chris J. Cajun B's playing far back as well, so Refresh is the only man within the bomb site. He's got to try and deny this bomb going down, and as that flash rains in, he dodges it. That's the bomb drop, so the bomb plant won't come in anytime soon, and Cajun B mopping up these remaining players. It is just Sunny left, and yeah, he's dealt with as well.
One thing I kind of liked about that eco from mousesports is they actually put Sunny still in the T-spawn holding that Ivy push, and the reason being is because they didn't want to, get instantly rushed down Ivy from someone like Snappy and as a result, have OpTic fully rotate down towards that B site. And mousesports just not wanting to walk into a stack, so making sure their back is covered at least, but didn't make too much of a difference. Was only Glocks and P250s. But here is the buy, Harry. We've got the rifles, we've got plenty of utility, enough for mousesports to work with, but still no AWP in play at the moment. OpTic hesitant to bring theirs out, of course, the money being a bit of a problem in that sense, but more of a bonus round with still a couple of SMGs being run here for the CT side, so definitely a chance for mousesports to find their 1st round on this T side.
Yeah, and actually already Sunny's been allowed to sneak out along with Chris J. Config is in position at E-Box to try and trade, but that's what this relief effort down at PopDog is here to try and deal with. Sunny's even gone as far as to wrap round, so they do finally deal with Config. And Sunny, he's not done just yet. He's actually going to go ahead and double things down. Oscar, peeking out in the meantime, just sweeps Cajun B under the rug, and it's Refresh, a very talked about player, left up in a 1v4. Has been able to drop the bomb, so might just have a bit more to give in this round. He heard that one AK shot as well from Sunny, so he knows a man has wrapped down towards CT spawn, but he's just hidden here on the buffer. Stiko's going to peek out. Bit anticlimactic there. Yeah. For all the Refresh. And that actually will be mousesports finding their 1st round.
And Sunny getting a double entry as well. I mean, this has been a player that mousesports' peak, or maybe not peak, but where we've seen them be pretty ridiculous, which was early last year. Sunny was one of the key reasons for that. I definitely think there's an argument to say he slowed down since that. He's had a bit of trouble individually, I would say, in the last couple of events, but hopefully this is where he can step up, help mousesports keep their place here in the minor, but at least for now, mousesports have their 1st T-side round on the board. We've got that double scout straight in for OpTic. They've not got the money to bring in the big AWP, but it's a bit of a messy buy for OpTic. So mousesports might be able to bounce back, equalize this one up. They've already set up inside of the B halls very early on here. 2 players on B for OpTic, both Refresh and Cajun holding off, but no information. They're playing extremely passive with the exception of Refresh playing close towards the ramp. Cajun, he's going to have to hit some headshots here, or Refresh will really be under pressure. Already starting to fall on back. The drop in. Refresh finishes off the kill, and Chris J's the first to fall. The Molotov catching Refresh in the corner, and Cajun laying down a lot of damage here from the back of CT. They need to get rid of him, and Rops will do exactly that.
Indeed he will. Now it's going to allow that bomb to cross. Now it goes down. So OpTic, things were looking good. Now they see themselves in a 3-on-4, but one of their scouts tags down Oscar. So maybe something's possible here. A couple of these players brought down to one shot to either one of these weapons that are still in play for OpTic. It's Sunny once again. Oh, just decimating the ranks of OpTic Gaming. They cannot get anything done. Yugi's going to get popped off at the end by Rob. So yeah, mousesports tying things up early on at 2-2. And for OpTic now, they made the decision to go for that buy there, and that might be something they come to regret. Now there's no money left for them in this round. So a chance for mousesports to take the lead early on here, which is a worrying prospect considering they are over on that T side as well.
It's going to have to be a hard eco for OpTic. I'd love to see if they even have the money to pull in the AWP in the next round as well, because with only $2,400 loss bonus coming in, and I think I saw everyone around the 2K mark there, so they may struggle without some USP kills. That looks to be the case. This is mousesports' chance to make some real money, and they're aware. Oscar, Sunny, both pulling up Mac 10s into this round. already set up outside the B halls once again, and they're just trying to clear Pop Dog from the exterior of T-Con. Sunny does find that first pick, Config's dead, but if you look at OpTic, they're fully grouped up towards B, so mousesports finding that early pick, playing off the back of it, they're going to walk into an empty bomb site. There's no one here.
Yeah, I mean, now for OpTic, best thing to do really is try and sit on your laurels. You don't risk giving any more money the way these SMGs. mousesports' economy is already just flushed with cash over here on the T side. And that does become a little bit threatening, right? mousesports, one of the so often talked about things about this team is that double AWP potential between Chris J and Oscar. So as they just feed the beast, Sunny and Oscar, they're going to take this all day long. They pad those bank accounts, and only KGB remains. He doesn't last long. mousesports going to move up 3-2. And as I was trying to allude to, you can see the money's really kind of spiraling out of control over here on the T side. These last few as well have been, you know, borderline bonus rounds from mousesports in a sense.
Pretty convincing across the board as well. So lots of guns kept forward, no SMGs lost there. No real reason to hold on to them here. They may as well at least upgrade that single MAC-10 to an AWP, and there we go. Oscar, he's gone straight for it. Chris J still sticking on the one.
Important to note though, just those presence of the SMGs means that guys on OpTic, they do kind of have to buy that head armor. You don't really want to risk it in case there are still the MAC-10s in play, right? So you see on players like Cajun and Snappy, they've had to forego a little bit in terms of utility just to go ahead and field that extra $250. Or $350 rather. Map, never my strong point.
No kits either. Always an awkward one on train. mousesports this time down Ivy. First time they've made presence here. And Snappy, he won't get any information. Already got that deep smoke down. But as we can see, we're only 30 seconds into the round, and there's 3 flashes and an HE grenade remaining on OpTic. That's a really good job of mousesports actually baiting out a lot of this utility early on. Not like they really needed to do a whole lot to get that. OpTic barely had anything aside from these rifles, but mousesports making sure there's no one close, making sure Ivy's clear, and we see OpTic have gone for a bit of a different setup because of only 3 players being on that A site. They don't want to challenge Ivy too much. They rather hold it back from Olaf. Snappy sat there in the corner, but a difficult position to get more than 1 kill. The surprise is good enough, but mousesports are splitting in through T-Con and Ivy. The smoke's already starting to lay down. That cuts off Config. He's focused on the Pop Dog that has no enemies coming from it. And mousesports, they're probably going to start to sneak up Ivy here. 38 seconds left on the clock. And OpTic, they need to work this out soon if they want to bring the rotations in time to stop that bomb going down.
Yeah, Snappy's putting a lot of reliance as well in the likes of Yugi. The one man who we might want to keep an eye on could be Config. He's got those 2 flashbangs, and he's over towards E-Box, as you say. He's actually going to get dropped almost at the first hurdle, so now it falls to Yugi to try and hold back mousesports. He's actually going above and beyond that fact. He's picked up 2, even goes as far as to dink down Stiko, so suddenly only 2 on at 2. mousesports, the big advantage they looked like they had heading into this round, started to dwindle away from them. Refresh pushes through that Molotov, and it is just Stiko left backing into Cajun B. They're so close to one another, and there should be no way that Stiko spots this out. Indeed, there is not. So the defuse will come through, and OpTic, they managed to make that hold work. They will be picking up a 3rd round. A much needed one at that. Only 1 man surviving. That does mean that the risk of the reset does now kind of play into this round for OpTic. They're not really going to have the money looking to the future. They cannot afford to lose this next one.
Yeah, at least a safe play though there in the 2-on-1. Cajun not wanting to push, rather refresh on 10 HP to get the information, try and work out where that final T was. And once he goes down, Cajun comes in quick for the trade. So nice and easy there for OpTic. Not too much hassle in that round, at least in the 2-on-1. Now, as you see, 3-3. AWP out for Yugi. He already had a sick round in the previous with that rifle on top of the close T-Con trade. Now he's on the AWP. This is the weapon we want to see this man on, and he's got Oscar to duel with. Not exactly the easiest battle you're going to take. mousesports very early on inside of the box halls, getting ready to set up outside towards B. They still have Sunny again, much as in that eco, holding onto the Ivy push. OpTic already throwing a deep smoke, and that's going to be a little bit scary for mousesports. There's no one pushing past it. Snappy's already backed off of Ivy, but mousesports have to be aware that OpTic could have this map control. Luckily enough, they're rerouting down towards this lower bomb site. Plenty of nades to get them in. And again, close positioning here from OpTic on this site. This can always be a problem. If mousesports hit a fast A, then these players have such a long rotate back in, unless they go for that Pop Dog flank like we saw in the previous round. But luckily enough, OpTic have gambled correctly with these 2 close players. The smoke's starting to fly in. mousesports making it very, very clear. And Snappy's already trying to clear out the Pop Dog.
There you can see OpTic, they've pulled Config back towards connector. That allows for a bit of a faster rotation into that B bomb site, but they haven't fallen for a hook, line, and sinker. That initial wave of utility goes in. It's the attempt at the double fake by the looks of things here from Mouse. Chris J and Sunny going to be lining up utility out towards the A bomb site, but it looks like the bulk of the pressure going to be coming in towards B. So as they line this up, Refresh and Cajun B, the only two players here, they dink down the first couple, and Chris J is going to help out a little bit at that. It's a 3-on-3 as the bomb looks to go down, but do be sure to bear in mind Sunny still coming in on this very, very long flank.
Rob still has a Molotov issue, is he? Stuck in the middle of the site, so can't exactly throw that in from the heaven. Has to use it to cut off the line of sight from OpTic and the push up close, delaying them as long as possible as the game plan here for mousesports to allow for that wrap from Sunny, but he really is taking his time. He doesn't know that OpTic are so pushed up on this bomb site. Config getting spotted, but he still gets away with a kill. Oscar, he has to try and delay this defuse. He has to try and allow something for Sunny to get done. He has got the Molotov for this bomb. If he can line it up, there's already a smoke on it. OpTic is sticking the defuse, and I think mousesports have realized this one's far too far gone. Sunny can do all the damage he wants, but the round is still going the way of OpTic. Great kills nonetheless. And that means that at least OpTic are going to be susceptible to reset, right? They're running forward next round with 3,600.
I mean, not even the reset. Their buy in this round is going to be atrocious. They were fully invested into that down to, their last $50. They just had the change in their pocket jingling around. So they pick it up, but those 3 kills from Sunny become so important now. They can't have the AWP. They can't even have rifles on the majority of these players. So, they might get the round win, but in terms of now looking into the next, what they're going to be able to field here, it's going to be a pretty dismal situation. You imagine that's why a pause has been called in now.
Yeah, definitely. A moment for them to work out how they want to approach this. SMGs and shotguns are probably going to be fielded here. Maybe even some more scouts. We did see that round down on B with lots of damage come out from the scouts. Not quite able to pull them through to a round, but I love a double scout on train. I do love a double scout.
Yeah, I mean, it is the poor man's double AWP. And yeah, I mean,
or single AWP.
Yeah, I guess so, actually. But yeah, you take a look at OpTic, and yeah, I mean, this is what we're on about. Have the one off over on Config. He's had to take that glass cannon. Important to note, he doesn't have armor behind him. He's also the man fielding the kit. Miss Molly from Sunny, but already losing one of those SMGs down here towards PopDog. Yugi tries to utilize it up close, tries to keep this avenue of the map locked down, and he gets punished for it. Cajun B is completely blindsided there. Sunny and Steeko tag team. Config does answer back with 1, but he's got to do a lot more with this solitary AWP over on the side of OpTic.
And Snappy's running down Ivy right now. He might be met with Chris J pushing in through the smoke. This could be a very dangerous timing, and the SMG not going to get away with it. Chris J now wrapping from the back means Config is, well, he doesn't know it, in a world of hurt. Not being surrounded, but has to be aware of the possibility. And in fact, it's not going to be Chris J flanking. It's Steeko who's pushed up on the bomb train. Missed shot from Config, and that'll cost him his life, and maybe even the round at this point. Only Refresh left up once again in a 1-on-4. We've seen this before, but looking just as undoable. mousesports armed to the teeth. Still barely used any of their utility as well. 3 smokes to cut off this rotate. And they know he's a B player, but not exactly sure of his position just yet. Pops out of the connector and straight to his death. Chris J finds his second kill. And mousesports, they are looking very clean right now. We've had multi-kills from pretty much every single player on the entire team. And we're only early days, Harry.
Yeah, I mean, you can see mousesports there. They realize, after Sunny gets those 3 kills in the previous round, there's not going to be a lot of money left for OpTic. They try and challenge the areas of the map where you might try and play those SMGs, those shotguns players. That's where they catch Yugi off guard, pushing in towards PopDog.
And that's somewhat of the reason they didn't just go for a blanket smoke execute. When you're running up against a round that could have shotguns, could have SMGs, could have pistols, you don't want to smoke off the site. You'd rather just take these fights, these clean, easy fights. And Oscar straight into an anti-eco doing exactly that, picking up Config nice and early on. mousesports already relinquished so much of the pressure on this A bomb site. There's no one even committed. Rotates have come out through the connector, and Snappy again down Ivy. He's done this almost every single round, but while Refresh grabs 1 kill, you wouldn't imagine too much is going to come out this one for OpTic. Molotov's going to force Refresh out into the open, and that's actually, straight to his death.
Yeah, he's trying to play a bit loose, try and grab the AK, maybe a little overzealous there from old mate Config. Yugi, up in towards the heavens, and now properly down to hell. Steeko sends him down to the fiery depths, and actually, pads his stats a little bit. So mousesports back in the lead, 5-4, keeping 3 players alive, so continuing to build up money here over on the T side. And that's really where the problem starts to begin for OpTic. They haven't had that money, they haven't had the utility. We very rarely, I think we've seen 2 AWPs thus far over on OpTic, 1 for Config, and then obviously 1 over on Yugi. But there hasn't really been much to, to combat the likes of Oscar on these long angles with the AWP of his own. Chris J not even electing to bring one out. He's having a field day with the Krieg. Can't say I blame him.
Yeah, and all this money trouble and all these resets mousesports are throwing OpTic's way is pushed them to a double eco. I mean, the nades are great into T-Con, and they actually find a kill off the back of it. But, you know, end of the day, mousesports are realistically going to be up to 6 rounds before OpTic can even field another buy. Now, that's a great start to the T side of Train. And to say that's only a start as well, definitely not what they're going to end the half with. There's nothing else coming out from these pistols of OpTic, getting absolutely run over again. This SMG actually falling to refresh, but it's not a worry for mousesports. They can afford to lose a couple of guns here and there. They know OpTic aren't getting away with saving anything, so a nice clean-ish round from mousesports. 6-4 here. Now OpTic coming back in with the buy. They should have this AWP under their wing as well, and that's definitely going to be needed.
Yeah, they take the double eco there, so yeah, they're going to have no issue now in terms of getting the AWP out. They're going to have the utility. This is really OpTic's best chance to try and find themselves around and start to get back into this game. Otherwise, you do just run the risk of mousesports running away with this one, especially when you're up against Mouse. You do need that utility. You do need the AWPs. You have to try and combat the likes of Chris J and Oscar. And even now, the utility isn't perfect for OpTic Gaming. A little bit limited on the likes of Cajun and Yugi. Those two both donning the AWP as they break out a double AWP setup over here on the side of OpTic. Maybe that's the solution they needed to combat the beast that is mousesports.
And even an early rotate as well. Another man drawn back towards that B site, the AWP occasion. Oh, that's a pick for Oscar. Yugi's going down towards the Ivy, so now one of the 2 AWPs has been removed. I can imagine we will see that rotate right back. Cajun going to move into the A site. Rops maybe getting caught on this corner. Config, free kill there. He's able to get away as well. Stiko not being able to trade in time, rather. The smoke comes down, but he runs right through it, and Config is not going to be ready at all. mousesports pulling things back in a big way, and Cajun even getting pressured through the smoke. We need a hero to step up for OpTic, and Snappy will begin things. Still a minute on the clock. Cajun's rotate does catch him 1 kill. And now mousesports there in the world of hurt.
Yeah, Stiko's actually up and past the man down in Ivy. But he's been able to find Cajun B, and somehow Oscar's been able to sneak past Snappy. Refresh might just catch the timing, but Stiko bails out his teammate. Saves Oscar, catches a bullet for him. And now that leaves Snappy in the 1v2. They spot the flash, they spot the trajectory, and you can already see Oscar getting in a position, trying to set up this bait and switch. Along with Stiko, just be there to grab the trade in the event one of them goes down, and Snappy trying to isolate the fight, trying to find something. Oscar just peeks wide and makes that look almost too easy. And that'll be mousesports finding a 7th round. A little bit devastating for OpTic there, in all honesty. They, for the first time in a very long time, they have the man advantage. They're able to recover nicely. They stumble back onto their feet, and then it all gets pulled out from under them towards the very end.
Stiko, an absolute madman right now. 3 kills in that round as well, topping the charts for mousesports. And you know, while you see Stiko at the top of the board, sometimes that may, you may think, oh, maybe that means that stars aren't stepping up. They certainly are. Ops is sitting close behind him, so we actually have a, a really good start for mousesports. This is quite, unstoppable. OpTic, no response just yet. Refresh not going to be able to get a kill. Sunny's too busy jumping. Rops is going to be able to trade him out. And Config and Cajun both landing a kill each, and that's the bomb dropped in the open. mousesports now dedicated into this B site against their will. Yugi even follows up. And just like this, mousesports, they've been completely ripped to shreds.
They've been bamboozled. And Cajun B even wrapping around from behind. He might be able to catch this one man. Missed a couple of shots, and now they know that he's here. Oscar. Ooh, this is incredibly awkward. He's dancing around trying to stay alive, but Chris J will be the savior they need, at least for the time being. Yugi left in this 1v2. We need some heroics from him, and there is the first man. Oscar's only on 13 HP. Yugi's also looking worse for wear. Either player dead in 1 shot.
And Oscar's expecting him to be holding heaven as well. That's why he's being so delayed, so cautious with grabbing this bomb, but he actually does get it. And with plenty of time, that gives him the option to rotate back in towards A. It's a mind game right now. Has Yugi pre-rotated, or is he just sitting back towards a CT spawn waiting for this B push? 30 seconds left, and Oscar will go for it. It's going to be the right call to make. Yugi yet to leave this B bomb site. Oscar, he should be able to get a plant in, and considering that he's the one weaponed up with the AWP, unless Yugi scavenges his gun before he rotates, things are going to look very, very difficult in this 1v1 for him.
Yeah, most definitely. It's also that lack of utility that's going to make things that much harder. He doesn't have any way to break Oscar off of these angles, to force him into these gunfights. Oscar now could just afford to play time over in main. He's locked away. He's actually going to take the fight. That's a little bit risky, but he's still able to land the shot. So Oscar does manage to secure the 8th round there for mousesports in the 1v1. I started sweating a little bit. I was like, is he playing out in the open? I couldn't believe that he was, but...
At least he makes it fair, Harry. You know, he uses the Deagle. Deagle versus Deagle. That's some respect. Obviously knowing Yugi was low from earlier in the round as well.
It's like the white glove duel thing. It's like Yugi slapped him with the white glove, and then they had the duel in the A-bomb site. Oscar's going to be coming out on top. You know, this is kind of the narrative that we were painting. mousesports very, very comfortable here on trade. It hasn't really been one, at least recently, that OpTic have been all too confident on.
I don't know if my perception of time is awful, or if we've literally just gone through like 11 rounds or 12 rounds in about 5 minutes. It feels like mousesports have just been going for the fast executes pretty much every single time. Anti-ecos, buy rounds, doesn't matter.
Yeah, we started at 4:15, now it's 4:30, so it's been 15 minutes,
Yeah.
so we're almost through the first half. Maybe it's 10 past, but you know, still. Time is irrelevant.
And the AWP actually shuffled over to Snappy here over Cajun. Not sure if that's off the back of a spawn, but both of them are playing towards the A site in this one. We've got a close position up ramp for Refresh, and he's got a huge task ahead of him. Very difficult position to play solo, and Cajun is going to rotate as a result. Snappy, I'm not sure if he spotted. He should have seen that cross there, so he's going to be aware of players on either side. And not wanting to gamble with it, just smokes it off, holds back for the time being, gives mousesports IV. Doesn't want to push with an AWP this time, and that makes some sense. Got to be careful of that A main position that Oscar's been abusing from time and time again. It's Sunny in there this time. Yugi's also watching it with the AWP, both of which are tagged already on the OpTic side. And mousesports, this is the first slow default we've seen this entire T side as well. They threw in one fake B execute, but other than that, it's been immediate pushes. mousesports trying to work out exactly where OpTic are positioned, because right now they're in a spot where they could realistically get an 11-4 half off the back of just this one rifle round. OpTic are going to be eco, giving mousesports at least 10. So this round really is worth its weight in gold if you want to just absolutely come out of the gate storming against OpTic.
And after their weak performance yesterday, mousesports most assuredly do. They do not want to be leaving the minor on day 2. Top 5 team in the world right now. They had their blunder at the major last time. They don't want to have it in the minor this time around. They know it's all on the line, and while they're out from Ivy, they're forcing their way out. Config has been able to find the man and pop, but release effort comes through. That's Chris J, putting us back into a 4-on-4. Config is a little bit upset with all these mousesports guys overrunning his bomb site, so he's trying to hold this down from Pop Dog. Cajun B is very quick out from Connector. Chris J is not ready for it, so blink and you'll miss it, and it's only Stiko and Oscar left up. They're not really in the best position to try and trade either. Bomb's not planted for them, but Oscar has found the first. Snappy trades, and now Stiko, he's been looking good thus far. He's in a 1v3, and Refresh, well, faster on the trigger. Does mean OpTic, they're going to be able to secure a 5th round.
A confident one at that as well. 3 players surviving, both AWPs taken forward. That was the big game changer, right? If OpTic won this round with no one or 1 player surviving, it would have been so easy for mousesports to still clean house pretty quickly. But at least it means we're going to have another full buy coming in for OpTic, a chance to salvage this half. But remember, Harry, it's still a max of 7 rounds on the CT side of Train, and that's really not a great scoreline. So OpTic are doing their best to pull themselves out of this rut. And that round is going to be a bit of a confidence booster to do exactly that. But don't worry, mousesports have all the money to continue buying up for pretty much the rest of the half. The AWP again down on Snappy over Cajun instead, and Refresh still alone towards B in this one. Not fearful of another fast play from mousesports, and they have no need to be. It's a similar default here from the T side.
This is where we see things maybe change a bit from OpTic. Looking like Refresh is tempted by some aggression over here towards this B bomb site. We haven't really seen much aggression from the OpTic squad, which, you know, seems a little bit uncharacteristic when you look at some of the names within this team, namely the likes of Config. You know, someone who's very renowned for his ability just to go big and take these very unconventional duels, find all the aggression, find man advantage when really he shouldn't. But instead, it's a very measured approach from this CT side. Refresh is still waiting around over there towards B. Snappy and Chris J locked in this standoff down towards Ivy as well. And it is just a stalemate across the map. The one kind of pivotal difference this time around for OpTic is they have plenty of utility. They haven't squandered it all early on, and they had a decent bit coming into this round. So will that be the deciding factor as this, what looks like a B-side play, is about to come through?
2 of these 3 Molotovs left up on OpTic are on this B site, so this is going to be perfect. Look at the time left, 25 seconds. mousesports are about to burst down. If they get double mollied here, that could be a big problem. 20 seconds, Stico runs right through it, and he doesn't care. He doesn't even want to deal with the men on the site. That could be a big issue because there are 2 players committed right now. Refresh doing his best, and he finds a double, but Stico eventually wraps back round for 2 of his own. Config on the rotation, takes him down deep in CT, but now it is the post plant. A 2-on-3. Config already crept up close. Oscar on the site, and he doesn't realize he's being wrapped from the left side. He has no support either. Chris J far too deep up the ramp. Config gets the kill, and they do have a smoke for that bomb as well. Not that it matters. Chris J going to be walking down into his likely death, and even though it's a tag, he gets away with a kill. This is doable for Chris, but Config, he's just looking too strong right now, and you could see mousesports, they were even aware of Config earlier in the round. They were trying to get him out of the picture nice and early by pressuring him in the pop dog, throwing down a Molotov behind him, spraying from the top of the ladder as well. But them not being able to take him down really leads to their demise. 3 kills from Config and another round for OpTic. They are salvaging this half.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you consider a few rounds ago, there was very much a real threat of this being an 11-4 half in favor of mousesports. They've done a good job to get it back to where it is right now. I mean, it's important to note that round there was one of the first where we really got to see all those proper utility belts out on OpTic. They were able to prolong the round, get it down to the last few seconds, really make mousesports kind of have to go for the desperation play into that B bomb. So, they didn't look comfortable. It wasn't on mousesports' terms for the first time, really, in this entire first half. So now that they've got all the utility in the world once again, combined with this double AWP setup, are we going to see continued success from this OpTic Gaming CT side?
Bomb backing down towards the A site, it seems. mousesports still have the top of pop dog, but have yet to spot Config there. He's playing back towards the train this time. Actually on the AUG as well. Yugi's close in towards main, and the AWP on the side of Oscar not in a position to try and take him down. So if Sonny goes around this corner, he is in a world of hurt. They need to get this smoke wall down, and mousesports currently setting it up on top of the dumpster. And they're still forced repositions from OpTic. Yugi not going to get covered though. He can completely hold down this angle for free. They crossed without realizing he's here, and while he's blind, he still hits a shot straight into the Molotov. Smoke at his feet, up top of the train, and Stico's found the only entry that mousesports have. 30 seconds left up, and Chris J doubles it up as well. So it's still doable for mousesports, but they've got to move fast. Drops keeping them in this round, and Snappy's the only thing that can stop them here and now.
Oh, but he gets Molotov'd off, going to try and push towards the sandwich. They would have heard that scope on in, so they have an idea that one of these players resides towards this portion of the map. But Refresh, he's been able to drop Oscar over here and pop. Left in the 1v2. Finds Rops up close, and now this is possible. Down into the 1v1, and it's Refresh on Chris. Time is ticking down, and Chris knows he can just toy with Refresh here. Force him onto that bomb, but Refresh is still able to pick up the kill. Taps it, forces the peek from Chris, and locks it down. OpTic Gaming salvaging that half as they go 7-8.
Yeah, and you could see Chris trying to peek while he was catching Refresh with a nade out, but too quick to switch back to the rifle. Either way, that's going to be an 8-7 half. Definitely favorable for mousesports, but OpTic showing signs of life at the end of it. We're going to be heading to a very quick break before this second half, and we'll be back with you in just a moment.
Well, it was looking like mousesports had a fire in their eyes. Then, we had a little alter of the old optics, and suddenly the Danes actually able to recover that half nicely. Going 7-8, they're able to potentially recover this in the second half. That does add that much more value onto this pistol around here for either one of these two teams. Stiko, you can see, going to be picking up the kit, and Smoke for mousesports and optics side. It's going to be Yugi donning that utility, and early on, where's he taking it? He's waiting over here. Back towards T-Spawn, he's lining up. Looks and flashes out towards the A bomb site. And actually on the back of Refresh, finding that frag early on onto Oscar. That might tempt OpTic just to go for the A play here and now.
Yeah, I mean, you can just throw nades straight over, cut off the connector, cut off wherever they want to, smoke, and it will go straight through. So that's deep in towards Ivy. That's going to mean that Stiko could get completely cut off from actually having any impact into stopping this bomb going down. Cajun B, he's trying to clear out the man on the stopper, and he has done a good job of at least that. This boost going up in the connector, and OpTic getting the plant in the meantime is very good, but they don't expect drops, and he finds 2 from the boost. Massive frags from mousesports now, swinging things back in their advantage. The smoke finally dissipating, so Stiko has a great line of sight, but he's been dinked immediately. 2 5 HP players on mousesports. They may have the advantage, Harry, but this is not going to be an easy retake.
Oh, definitely not. There's Stiko eliminated now. The kit has been juggled onto Rops. That's not an issue, but they have to quickly try and deal with some of these players. Rops does manage to pick up Cajun B, and that leaves Yugi armorless and in the hot seat. Rops, the man that just won't stop. mousesports pistol round locked in. They're going to move up 9-7. As Rops just comes into his own there, boosted up over connector, sees all from atop his watchtower, and is able to recover that round.
That's so unfortunate as well. Those 2 players rotated off B. They ran through the connector. I don't know how the players on the site did not hear them get into position. The Rops have some stunning shots as well, so that is going to be great for mousesports. 2 pistol rounds under their belt. OpTic, they are going to have the bomb down, so an option to bring in AKs into this one and actually try and force the issue. Yes, they do. Dropped over. Got Config and Yugi rifled up, and this is going to be, quite a terrifying twosome to be, fighting against. But mousesports, I mean, they've gone for straight rifles across 3. The scout on Chris J. Oscar with his signature shotgun down on the B site as well. And that's exactly where he'll be met with OpTic. 5 players already in the box halls immediately. You have got that support from Rops down in the connector, but the smoke cutting off ramp, they'll probably just go straight through it. It is a bit of a mixed bag for OpTic anyway, this buy. They hold off for the time being, and yeah, if you're going to run through this smoke, you're going to be in a world of hurt, because Oscar's waiting there with the alligator.
Wow, here's the first footstep. They try and bait him in for the peak, and on the other side of that smoke, that nade goes through, and he tags him down for a little bit, so Oscar looking like he might get tested. Does have Rops here to try and anchor down this bomb site with him. Rotations are a decent way away, though, for mousesports, so Oscar has to stand his ground. He's helped out greatly by Rops. In fact, once again, it's Rops to pick up a quick double, but Yugi, in with the response, might not be enough, but indeed it is not. Sunny and Stiko there to immediately put a leash back on Yugi, shut him down, get the trade, and cement that round once again in favor of mousesports.
mousesports just looks so ready for that one. The constant re-smokes, Rops playing bait in the connector as well. I mean, that was clearly predicted somewhat by mousesports with OpTic going for this kind of force buy, especially with no pressure being put on anywhere else. That's the issue. When you send 5 players in the box halls, you have no Ivy control, you have no T-Con, you have no pop dog, so mousesports not seeing anyone there, very, very likely to be hit with the B-rush post-smoke. Now it is just pistols for OpTic. Deagles and a Glock on Yugi. He saves for the AWP, so this is a bit of a confidence boost around for mousesports. Already they're looking confident, pushed up. Top of the ramp, Yugi on the other side. He's not going to be much to hold off, and in fact, no one will. Cajun finally takes them down, and that's a couple of SMGs dropped, but not really a loss for mousesports. They would have probably wanted to upgrade them anyway. And now he's got to try and pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Yeah, trying to pull a rabbit from a hat, but more like the tortoise versus the hare. It's slow and steady winning the race right now for Cajun B, sneaking on back. Won't get spotted by Chris J. So he does have a little bit of room to maneuver. Stiko's currently sat down and connecting. Not really expecting too much from Cajun here. This is a tricky shot to land, but if he catches the timing, maybe he can find something. No, he cannot. mousesports, 11-7. Buy is available once again for OpTic in the following round at the very least. And it should have all the bells and whistles they would like. They're going to be able to get the AWP out as well, so going to be nice to see that make a return. Likely going to be thrown onto Yugi for him to try and open this round up.
And obviously with those SMG kills as well, Oscar's not going to have a problem doing the same thing. Only one here for mousesports, but Chris J's still on the scout. No need to upgrade. He had the money for it, but hey, if you can beat OpTic here and get free guns, why not? But Yugi actually didn't go for the AWP. He had the money for it, but instead just going for the flat rifles across this entire OpTic T side. It does allow for full nades on pretty much everyone here. But interesting decision to not go for it. Maybe OpTic banking on the fact that if they do win this round, they get that free AWP, and it just saves them 5K. That's such a huge amount of money, especially when you're down already 4 rounds. The only issue with that is if they lose it, mousesports are going to keep up this streak. Looking fairly unstoppable on the CT side so far. OpTic yet to grace this T side with a round just yet. It's heavy Ivy presence. mousesports very eager to just give it up straight away. Stiko's already fallen back, gone towards T-Con, and we've actually got Chris J posted on it back from the bomb train. But again, only on a scout, so if OpTic did want to go for some kind of smoke and wrap CT, that would be a very good idea right now. Obviously, they don't have the information we do, but that entire spawn is open both on A and B. And they still have players outside of the pop dog as well, but this has got to be a very well-timed split if they're going to be able to get picks. mousesports are very grouped up in the middle of the site.
And the issue they're going to have is right now they've set up for this A play, sadly not the cross down into CT, so now they spot out Chris J. The push is trying to come in from main.
Ooh.
My Yugi, slowly but surely coming on out. Sunny in the meantime has pulled this back on a 4-on-4. That bomb tries to go down, but Stiko out in the open, not spotted. They are to mop him up the second time around, and this comes to a pretty quick close. OpTic able to salvage that 8th round.
Yeah, you can see the grouped up mousesports players definitely caught OpTic off guard. I mean, look at that bomb plant attempted by Cage and then shot by the player at E-Box, but you know, the surprise is only so good there for mousesports. OpTic, very good communication to actually trade that. Not let that get out of control at all, despite 3 players being together on the A site. It will be OpTic finally getting their first T-side round, and not quite breaking the mousesports economy, but certainly putting it on the back foot means that they'll be eco if OpTic can pick up another one in a row. Double AWP though, there's the reinvestment from Chris J that we were expecting, and he's already bringing in a bit of aggression as well with it. Oscar playing close down on the ramp, looking for an early pick as well, so Config has to be very, very careful when going for this peak. For now, just holding on to the top, but can he just wallbang this position without fully exposing himself? But what a shot! Snappy jumps across, gets legged, Config peeks right behind it and takes down Oscar. That's a great pick for OpTic. They lose a bit of health in the process, but boy, is it worth it.
Almost definitely, because what a man to find. Oscar is someone who could just dominate with that AWP. Also, you think back to yesterday, he was the only guy really showing up alongside the likes of Chris J. Rob's even actually going to get wallbanged by Config as well. That's the B-bomb site almost open for business. Sunny has come rotating in to try and bolster this defense. The only issue is mousesports are spread so thinly across the map right now. They do dedicate most of their forces over here towards this A-bomb site, and actually even Sunny starting to peel off. Config is pushing into that B-bomb site, so he'll be hot on their heels on this wrap round. This does leave a 3-on-4 inside of the A-bomb site for mousesports for the time being.
They don't know Stiko's here though, that's the only question mark at base. Sunny's drawing their attention from the connector. This gives time for Chris to move in as well. Sunny's still holding that backline. While he expected Config to be on the flank, he's not going to be able to hit the trigger faster. It's Stiko to pop in from behind, and he gets a 1-dig as well. Doable for mousesports if Stiko can step up, and boy is he doing that. 2 1-digs already found, and a gun to be retrieved. The issue is the time. And I don't think mousesports are even going to have a chance to go for this. They've got to hold on to their guns, but good damage at least. It is still OpTic picking up a round though. And again, another massive multi-kill from Config. He has been very, very good today. There's always question marks with, you know, who will step up, who's having a good day on OpTic. There's times where Config and Yugi are silent, and that's when we see OpTic really just crumble in these high-pressure situations, but not today.
And with the performance of Stiko right now, I'm getting flashbacks to IEM Sydney. That was like, you know, that event where he just kind of like was insane. The rest of the team maybe weren't doing as well. He then kind of came out and said, you know, how he'd been watching a lot of Crim's demos and how he was going to move away from that because he didn't really suit the more fragging role. Obviously, he does play that supporting role within the team.
Well, that's exactly
and
what
yeah, exactly. And that was why they brought him back. If you recall, that was even one of the reasons why maybe perhaps they even let him go, was just they wanted to make some changes. And They figured the extra firepower is what they needed, remember, when they bought in snacks. We try to forget.
Yeah, that didn't go too well. I mean, when you got a team like this, you don't need more firepower. Look at the firepower on it. I mean, most of it already dead.
Yeah.
But usually when they've actually got guns, it's pretty effective. So for now, it's OpTic looking to find 10 rounds, and they shouldn't have much resistance in their way. There's Rops they've run past on the site, and Sunny's playing back CT as well, but he's been spotted. Rops is still here. This is a cheese kill. He gets one at a max, but not even that. Snappy turns back around, able to switch to his weapon, and Stiko, the only man with one of those, is going to get dropped. It's Sunny holding off with the 1D, but not for too much longer. Another triple for Config. This man is on a real tear right now. I'd love to know how many kills he's on. He is absolutely making a mockery of mousesports right now. Up to 20.
Yeah, I mean, he is just having a field day. And yeah, then you do actually have the likes of Refresh as well, kind of putting up numbers alongside of the rest of the team, now starting to find their footing here on their T side. One advantage is, right, you've got Config on your team, you're on a T side, you can just let him off the leash, you can just go ahead and like, Config, go kill. And he'll go ahead, that's what he's been doing over towards the B bomb site, picking up these kills time and time again. And it's one man creating all these opportunities for OpTic right now. He's back at B, he's so comfortable here. This has become home turf to him. And now he's got Oscar trapped. He's got his name, his number, his address, mother's maiden name, you name it, Config's got it. But he does elude him with that smoke. Manages to get by, safe passage back towards the B bomb site. So mousesports, they do dodge, losing their AWP early on.
You could see Rops making a lot of noise up ramp at the beginning of the round, and that actually drew the attention of Config when Oscar was setting up in the top of the box stalls there. So that was the plan for mousesports, but Oscar unable to hit the shot to Config. Would rather just retreat than risk his life, risk giving up a pick in another pretty key round. This is going to allow OpTic to get up to even Stevens if they do win it. Yugi trying to put pressure on the Ivy, but still not committed for the time being. They are setting up smokes inside of B, but that bomb, if you take a look, it's still in the T-spawn. So right now, OpTic potentially just throwing in this fake, trying to get rid of the last remnants of utility that mousesports do possess, and there really isn't a lot. 2 smokes, 2 flashbangs, only 1 kill on Stiko. That is on at least the A bomb site, but mousesports still committed with 2 players down on B, and Snappy rather, he's snuck into this site. Rops is so pressured here, he's got to deal with this flanking player. We've already seen what Config can do on that flank if they do hit the A site, but Chris J is denying them entry. The bomb getting dropped down Olaf. Yugi does trade, but mousesports have a man advantage, and there's only 17 seconds left. They need to grab this bomb, but Sunny won't even let them into the site. Yugi with his 2nd kill still getting dropped, and just like that, it's Sunny in an essential 1v1, just has to play with his food. Dink down, Snappy's 9 HP, and Stiko will not let him pass. It's mousesports up to 12. They finally get another round, a streak of 3 from OpTic, but it will eventually get silenced by mousesports.
Yeah, I mean, quite critically there for Maz, it doesn't come down to the wire. It's not just one man surviving. They're going to hold the double AWPs. They pick up the one that was dropped by Yugi over in main, so they're going to have that to work with heading into the next round. Because the reset would have been looming otherwise. And, you know, the money still isn't fantastic over here, actually, on the CT side. In spite of that, they've had to go for a lot of rebuys in terms of utility. Throwing down that Molotov down towards Ivy, denies Cage and B's attempted early peek. Yugi, in the meantime, going blow for blow with Oscar. Ensures the 4-on-4 for OpTic right now, at the very least. And you can see the effect that's had. It's left a lot of pressure on Rops once again as he attempts to solo anchor this B bomb site.
Oh no. That's such a huge kill. That's completely opened up this site. This bomb might just be able to get in time. Config's keeping the pressure up. Chris J trying to rotate back in, but him getting picked allows this bomb to get planted, and OpTic still hold the man advantage despite Sunny getting that kill on the rotation. He swapped out to the M4. And just by him doing that, it makes me think that he want to go for this, because otherwise surely he'd save the AWP. So he's flanking into the pop dog. Cage and B's on the other side, so good luck to Sunny here. He's going to get blindsided. Stiko's the last man up, and with his teammate going down, he should probably just run for the hills, flee and try and grab this AWP, but it's a long way away. It's in the connector, so mousesports, they are going to get reset.
Yeah, you know, you understand why they attempt to go for it, but at the same time, you know, the safer option would have definitely been to have go for the save there. You're looking down the barrel of a double eco anyway, because you have the likes of Rops on such low money, so the likelihood is you're planning to invest, you know, in this round regardless. So you imagine, you know, if they've been able to save both of those AWPs heading forward, you would have had cash to have dropped 2 rifles as well. You would have had 4 weapons into that round at the very least. with then a 5th player to go ahead and pick up the utility.
What a recovery from OpTic this has been. At 1.8 to 4 to mousesports, they were looking so dominant in that first half. They weren't giving OpTic any breathing room on the T side. And now when we switched over, OpTic, they've been having a great time. They've lost both pistols, but still only 1 round behind. And that's about to be equalized. I'm sorry to break it to you, but mousesports only have 1 gun in this round. And well, they may have stacked up inside a B. That's a, well, not exactly a saving grace. mousesports have already, OpTic have already taken the pop dog, so that just furthers up their control to the A site. Not that they'll abuse it for now, it's still a slow default. They're aware mousesports don't have the weaponry to contend, so OpTic don't want to go barraging into a potential stack. Being very methodical, clearing out close positions, making sure there's no P250s around these corners, and there's not. But there are 5 players still on B.
Yeah, and even though it was looking good for mousesports early on, maybe like their gamble had paid off, OpTic aren't keen on just walking blindly toward one of these bomb sites. They're going to take their time. With the AWPs in play as well, all these rifles, they want to try and stay away from these pistols if they can. They don't want to work into these close angles, so they're setting up for the A bomb site. And for the likes of mousesports, they're just going to look to try and sit on B, keep those USPs around Stiko, acting like bodyguards. They can just juggle that gun around in the event that Stiko does go down. So they at least hold that forward with them into the next round. But as you say, this is going to be the equalizer, taking into account that this was an 8-7 half in favor of Mouse. Since moving to the CT side, they've done, you know, relatively speaking, very little, especially when you take into account they win the pistol, they win the follow-up round, which was a force buy from OpTic, forcing them into an eco into round number 3. So they get a 3-0 lead early on, and since then, in the rifle rounds, they've managed a single round on the CT side.
They won't be chasing too heavily here either, as you said, just protecting Stiko. That gun really is valuable considering the money being in such an awkward position, especially on ROP, so bit of an armada up here in the box halls. Snappy won't hear any of this. mousesports just sneaking towards a T-spawn, so it's going to be 5 players surviving, just scared maybe of OpTic pulling in an SMG, but no, they're playing it safe with 4 rifles. This is definitely the kind of round that mousesports would have had like 2 MAC-10s, but OpTic not quite the same story. Great shot, god damn, Sunny. Smooth as anything, takes down that AWP from Yugi. It does get picked back up from Cajun, but it's just little casualties like that that can come back to haunt OpTic later in the game. That being said, OpTic, they're looking like the ghost right now. They're the one eluding mousesports, taking this lead, or very close to doing so at least. But here's the buyback up from mousesports, trying to defend this victory that they're currently sitting at least 12-12 right now. The AWP only on Oscar for this round at least, and Yugi's now got his AWP back in his hand, so that's what we like to see. 4 players up early on the A site for mousesports, and only 1 player down on B.
I mean, all that confidence we were speaking about for mousesports, all that kind of, you know, they were just exuding it. They were very, very willing to go for this aggression, very, very willing to take these fights, even things that, you know, maybe they shouldn't be getting away with. And now you can see it's a much more measured approach. They've got 4 players stacked up inside of this A bomb site. A barrage of utility, wall of smokes goes down. Chris J up here on top of the blue train. He's undetected, and he's the unknown factor. He picks up a double config. Able to deal with the point man. Oscar missed shot, and Config is just on a tear. 3 kills right now, and finally they managed to silence him. But my goodness, Yugi's left in the 1v1 versus Rops. Bombs planted for him though, so Rops is the man under the pressure right now. Time are continuing to tick on down, and Rops has so many angles to check. Just misses the timing, and oh, Yugi's seen him. Scope's heard, but Yugi's fast on the trigger. That's a shot he does not miss. 13-12, and OpTic, they're going to be taking the lead for the first time in this matchup.
Yeah, and despite this being mousesports' pick, I mean, not they were saying on the desk earlier that you know, OpTic have definitely put some time into this map. They've been saying that, so it's looking pretty obvious right now. Config especially. Been quiet for the last couple of rounds, but coming in again into, you know, a hugely important rifle round, finding 3 entry kills on that A site, shutting down mousesports despite having a quad A setup. And dear oh dear, this is starting to get out of control for mousesports. It may not look like it with the score being so close, but this entire half has been all OpTic. As you said, the rifle rounds being almost flawless, only dropping 1 to mousesports in the entire half so far. A pause I can only imagine for mousesports here.
Yeah, they really need one at this point in time. I mean, if you just saw that Oscar had his head in his hands, you know, he's looking down at the keyboard. That's the thing with mousesports, they are a team. If you look at them, then one of the reasons that they're so known to kind of throw away these leads is they do get in their own heads a little bit, right? Especially now at the minor. You think about last major, it was shocking enough that they went out 0-3. Could you imagine the travesty that would be mousesports taking an exit, being the first team to leave the EU minor?
This is the best team in all the minor circuits in every region here, mousesports, in terms of at least being proven, right? So, yeah, this is crazy. Not to say that OpTic, you know, definitely don't have the firepower, but in terms of results, OpTic have not really been able to achieve too much with this core. But right now, with the addition of Refresh, with Config firing off on all cylinders, it's looking like OpTic is stealing away mousesports' pick right now. We've got a 13-12 mousesports on the eco. Steeko trying to push up. He's been good with this Deagle so far. He's been good with whatever weapon you give him, but not going to be able to hold down the line this time. Refresh catches him. Rob's going to be spotted in the corner as well. Snappy dispatches very quickly, and this will be a, well, clean anti-eco, it seems, for OpTic, not having any problem with dealing with mousesports. Sonny trying his best, and while mousesports definitely have a lot of strong D players on their team, this is not going to be doable. It's Oscar trying to hold on to A, but that bomb, it's already began to come straight out. They didn't even try and rotate it towards B. They just rather take the fight, get rid of him while they can. Don't let him scavenge a gun. Another round for OpTic, and only 2 away from picking up a victory over on Train.
Yeah, this is where, you know, being the favorite, being such a heavy favorite, especially like mousesports, it's hard to think of, you know, a minor where we've had as much of kind of a stacked favorite. Yeah, it can be a double-edged sword, right? Because it's very, you know, if you start at the full point, you know that this is a game you should be winning. You're on Train. This is your map pick. You had what was an 8-4 lead at one point in time, an 8-7 half.
The scary factor is mousesports shouldn't even be playing this game. Their opening matchup was versus the bottom-seeded team in their group, Valiant, a game they should have won. And while they tweeted after the game saying, you know, we need to warm up, or like this is, you know, slow start from us. I mean, it doesn't matter if it was a slow start. If it continues to stay slow, you're going to get eliminated.
I don't even think you can put this out of a slow start anymore. Though right now, it feels like it's just OpTic kind of also starting to rise up. Right, Config has had one hell of a recovery in this matchup. Now sitting top of the board for his team, 26 kills to his name and 111 ADR. So he has been doing the work of 2 men at this point in time. Lining up the smokes and flashes. Just going to try and keep things simple, stupid, in towards this B bomb site. Been a while since OpTic have tried anything this much. You know, just an explosive play, brute force. Gonna try and catch mousesports off guard, and they've got very little utility to keep OpTic out of B when this play comes through.
Yeah, Oscar has the Molotov, but he's back towards CT, scoped in with the AWP, so needs to get that down very, very quickly indeed. OpTic throwing the Molotovs over, trying to make mousesports reposition so they can catch them out when they push. Yuki's already peering through the heaven. Config's out from lower, but Oscar, he's holding down the line with that AWP. Rops is still here, and luckily his teammates are at least dealing with the ramp, so he can just focus on Yuki on heaven, but he's yet to push out of this top position. Rops has not been spotted, and with 20 seconds left, he could stop this bomb right here and now. He could win the round, and that might just be it. He's dropped Snappy. There's no one close by to grab that bomb. They're still up in the halls. Yuki not able to get a pick in from the heaven just yet, and Steeko's on the other side, so he can jump up and deal with him as well, but Cajun's actually managed to find the trade. Doesn't make a difference. 5 seconds left. Yugi's got to run for the hills. It's mousesports to find 13 rounds. Massive play from Rops to drop the bomb, and obviously Oscar to actually hold off OpTic down that ramp. But by the skin of their teeth, mousesports will get away with it.
Still, is it too little, too late? We're hoping that mousesports can find their footing once again on their CT side and continue down this road to redemption. Oscar still not looking all too thrilled with this. You know, you do keep seeing the little head in the hands, or maybe sitting bottom of the board, which when you think about his performance yesterday alongside the likes of Chris J, both of them topping the charts in that game versus Valiant's really the only team, the only 2 players on their team that were putting up much of a fight. And it's quite the contrast here with both of those 2 players falling silent. They're your AWPers. They should be, you know, going off on Train right now. But instead, you're looking towards Steeko and Sonny of all people. Really, they're the 2 topping the charts alongside Robs.
Well, you do have to remember on the CT side, I think we've seen 1 double AWP this entire half from mousesports, at least brought up, right? They've had trouble winning these rifle rounds, and they're still in a situation where, okay, yeah, they may have just salvaged 1 and picked up a 13th round, but that was after a streak of 4 from OpTic, so very susceptible to reset. They can barely buy up into this. Utility going to be missing on many players here. So if OpTic win this round, it's likely they win the game, Harry, because mousesports, they have nothing left in the bank. They get $1,400 for the loss, and very, very possible OpTic could win this off the back of one rifle round here, and the majority going their way, I would say it definitely leans in their favor. Gonna need a hero play from mousesports, but while they were keen to take very, very early and aggressive fights out through T-Con in that T side, they have been shying away from challenging or getting aggressive on the CT side the entire half, with the exception of anti-ecos, or the one anti-eco they ran earlier. They've given up Ivy once again, but OpTic aren't going to be challenging. They fall back nice and early. And already set up for what looks like a bit of an A execute, but here we go. Here's what we want to see from mousesports. Some aggression. Chris J pushed up into T-Con. Now, Yui's going to be setting up smoke, so Chris, he's going to be able to hear this. They're going to be able to call. This is a likely A play after all. The bomb always having the option to rotate background through the ramp where two players sit for mousesports, and that is going to be the fake thrown out from Config, but it is going to be the A commitment after all, so Chris J has a lot to do.
He most certainly does. One thing is Sonny actually threw a smoke in towards main, and that's to try and not give, to try and sell the fact that they're not pushed up and aggressive into this position. So maybe they won't be ready for Chris J here, and indeed they're not. He's been allowed to secure two, and on the back of this, he has divided these forces. And the old saying, "Divide and conquer," couldn't read more true than right now. Blink of an eye, it's only Snappy left. A 1v4 required. And that is a very tall order indeed. He's just going to back off and look to try and hold on to this. So 14-14, we're all tied up, and this one's going to be going the distance.
And as you call them out, Oscar and Chris J sitting bottom of the board, having a tough time here. They both show up with a 2K each up on that A bomb site. Nice to see the mousesports we know and love shining true in that round, but it's still so close, and OpTic aren't going to have too many troubles for now. They've still at least got the confidence, right? Config is not slowed down this entire second half. 26 kills on him right now. Top of the entire server. A bit of a mixed bag for a buy here from OpTic. They don't want to eco and play for OT, and I barely blame them. 3 AKs, a Deagle, a UMP. We still have that AWP in the hands of Oscar. And it seems like OpTic, they're going for the classic B play. Already 5 players up into these halls, and if we see more aggression from mousesports, if we see them push down Ivy like they have right now, that's a lot of info. Chris just peeked wide into the T spawn, so they know at least for now that there's no one peeking down Ivy. As a result, very likely to see this rotation from Oscar again. It will be Sunny, in fact. So 2 players towards B, playing passive. They have the kits and the utility to do this, so the right call from mousesports, but they do get caught out of position. The jump flash down, and Refresh finds the first.
The timing was looking perfect, but Robs somehow able to go ahead and find a lot more than he should have been able to get away with. And actually a third. He's just padding these stats at this point in time as Robs drops anchor down here at B. And well, for OpTic, that ship might have just sailed. K's and B left up. 55 seconds left, and at this point in time, you really do just have to pick your poison, right? He could elect to hold on to the AK, means that they have it with them guaranteed. He still has a decent belt of utility left, but saving for 45 seconds, definitely not ideal. Flip side as well, it means they're also having to compete for the overtime. So do they have the faith in Cajun to pull this off? Certainly doesn't look like it. He's not doing much.
Little does he know, but he could pop out of heaven here and try and get a bomb plant. Robs is just spotting right now. He's going to drop off the second he sees a player and just call for that retake. He'd rather play it safe. So there it is, the spot. He gets the info. He can nade the site, just try and chip away a little bit of Cajun. But that bomb plant will come in. That extra money that OpTic so desperately desire. Now Cajun, he's got a huge task ahead of him. Surely this one's unrealistic. mousesports, they can't afford to throw this one away. Flash high, he's going to have trouble here. That Molotov might even spread, but he peeks behind it to his own demise. Oscar finds the frag. And mousesports, 15 rounds first. They had a slow start to the CT side, but they finally showed up where it matters. You could see in that round that OpTic were very much expecting the AWP connected. That's why they went for that flash drop, right? You're not going to do that if you're expecting a shotgun or a rifle up close. If you drop 3 players down the ramp, Oscar's only going to be able to kill one of them, and he's been in the connected time and time again. So the fact that we have Rops and Sunny down on B for a change was so important for mousesports. Able to line up 3 kills from Rops, shutting down that B play, guaranteeing mousesports map point on their pick as well.
I think for OpTic, I mean, now, you take a look at it, the money isn't fantastic. The buy-in of this round gets pretty dire, which, considering how hard they had to fight to get to this situation, to get back into this game, pretty devastating stuff for the Danes. In spite of the, relatively weak buy, it wouldn't surprise me if maybe we see them try and hit this outside bomb site. Rops has been doing such a good job of anchoring B time and time again. He's sitting top of the board right now for mousesports. Is the Estonian wonder child here. Double orb setup looking like it's being moved into. Oscar and Chris J going to be donning them as we've come to expect. And yeah, for OpTic, 3 rifles, 2 MAC-10s, a handful of utility. And it's looking like it's just going to be the fast A play off the bat. Snappy's already down. Olof trying to go aggressive, trying to catch them off guard just with this blistering pace. But the flashes, the smokes, they keep him at bay for the time being.
Oh, Config flash through. Oscar's going to miss the shot, but Sunny does bail him out. That's such an important frag. The top fragger on OpTic right now has been removed. And he's got to sit back and wait for mousesports, for OpTic to try and recover this round with a man disadvantage. It's not looking good so far. Sunny's picked off a second player. Oscar's gone out wide in the A site to try and reposition, and OpTic might not expect this position. Yugi getting one crucial frag down Ivy, but there's still a man down, and Yugi's tagged up as well. It's starting to fall apart for OpTic, and I don't know if this one's going to be salvageable.
They've even spotted Cajun on his exit out from main. Yugi, they know his whereabouts, they've deleted him, and now it does leave Cajun. He was in a 1v3 in the round prior. This time it's a 1v4 with just a UMP. And this feels like it should be impossible. Stiko's going to put him down, and mousesports, it takes them a little bit of time, but they do manage to edge it out 16-14 here on their map pick of trade.
That's got to hurt for OpTic. I mean, a great T-side half, and after a bit of a struggle on their first, they really brought it back. Config with a lot of crucial rounds and able to make it what seemed like a victory for OpTic, but it will be mousesports coming out on top of their map pick. I think we have a real 3-map series for us here. We're heading to Nuke on the second one. That will be OpTic's choice, so join us after the break for exactly that.